Few places in Europe compress so much history into a single silhouette. Gauls defended it, Romans fortified it, Visigoths ruled it, and Crusaders bled for it. Later, kings rebuilt it, and architects reimagined it. Carcassonne is not one city. It is many cities layered on top of each other, a place where every stone carries the weight of a vanished world and where the past never truly faded. Its origins reach far before the Middle Ages, and its fascinating and sometimes tragic story begins long before medieval history even takes shape. Long before the impressive walls that stand here now, people already understood the value of this strategic hilltop. By the 6th century BC, a fortified Gallic settlement called Carsac occupied this place, serving as an early oppidum. Carsac, later referred to in Roman sources as Carcasso, commanded views over ancient trade routes, connecting the Mediterranean coast with the Aquitanian plains, linking the worlds of Iberia and the Greek colony of Massalia. Early peoples understood the value of this land, laying the very first foundations for what would become an enduring stronghold. With the arrival of the Romans, the settlement truly began its transformation. By the 1st century BC, Carcassonne had become a Roman castrum, a military stronghold defending Gallia Narbonensis. This fort rapidly grew into a civitas, a prosperous Roman town benefiting from the stability of the Pax Romana and its position near the vital Via Aquitania. Some of the lower courses of the northern ramparts date to Gallo-Roman times and were later built over. Pliny the Elder even lists the hill towns of the Tectosages among the inland towns of Narbonensis, a sign that Rome regarded these elevated strongholds as strategically important. As the Roman Empire waned in the 5th century, Carcassonne fell to the Visigoths. They did not let the Roman defenses decay, they strengthened them, making the city a major administrative and ecclesiastical center, a key bastion of their kingdom. The Visigoths, who practiced Arian Christianity, held the city for over 2.5 centuries, leaving their own architectural mark on its foundations. This Visigothic rule was broken in the year 725 by the arrival of Umayyad forces from Al-Andalus, who swept north across the Pyrenees. Its new masters would not hold it for long. In 759, the Frankish king Pepin the Short, Charlemagne's father, retook the city, bringing it definitively into the Carolingian sphere and marking the beginning of its French destiny. In the centuries that followed, Carcassonne became the seat of local counts and viscounts, a semi-independent lordship slowly carving out its own identity. This feudal power coalesced under the Trencavel dynasty, who would rule from the 11th to the early 13th centuries. This was the era of the troubadours, of Occitan culture, and of parage, a complex ideal of chivalry, honor, and courtly love. Under the Trencavels, Carcassonne flourished. Around 1130, they constructed the Château Comtal, the Viscount's castle, a formidable fortress palace nestled against the inner wall. The city within the ramparts was a bustling, sophisticated, and relatively tolerant place. The city's streets were filled with merchants, artisans, and pilgrims, trading in wool, cloth, and regional goods, reflecting a thriving medieval urban economy. It was this very tolerance that would prove to be its undoing. The 13th century brought Carcassonne its greatest trial. The region was a hotbed of Catharism, a dualistic Christian movement deemed a dangerous heresy by the Catholic Church in Rome. Pope Innocent III, determined to eradicate this belief, launched the Albigensian Crusade. In 1209, a massive crusading army, led by the abbot Arnaud Amaury and the nobleman Simon de Montfort, marched on the Trencavel lands. Carcassonne, under the young Viscount Raymond Roger, became a primary target. Its walls swelled with refugees from nearby towns. After a brutal siege that ended with the city's surrender on August 15th, when its water supply had been cut off, the city fell. Raymond Roger, despite being promised safe conduct to negotiate, was seized and thrown into his own dungeon. He died there, a prisoner, on the 10th of November. The Trencavel lands were declared forfeit, and Simon de Montfort became the new master of Carcassonne. The age of Occitan independence was over. This marked a pivotal moment. The city was now a possession of the French crown. The new royal masters, wary of the local population and determined to hold this strategic borderland, began a massive building program. From 1226, under Louis IX, and continued under his successors, royal engineers began constructing the magnificent outer wall, the second massive enceinte. This gave Carcassonne its famous double-walled defense, a fortress within a fortress. It was a masterpiece of military design, but also a stark symbol of royal power, separating the king's garrison from the still mistrusted local populace. The city's original inhabitants were not even trusted to live within their own walls. After a failed revolt in 1240, led by Raymond II, son of Raymond Roger, the people of Carcassonne were expelled from the cité. They were forced to settle on the far bank of the river in a new, planned town, the Bastide Saint-Louis. Carcassonne became a purely military and royal citadel. For centuries, Carcassonne remained a formidable and unconquerable fortress, the Maiden City, playing its part in the 100 Years' War and other border conflicts. However, its strategic significance began to wane. The final blow came with the Treaty of the Pyrenees in 1659, which shifted the border between France and Spain further south. Suddenly, Carcassonne was no longer a frontier stronghold. It was obsolete. Its military garrison was reduced, and the city slowly fell into disrepair. While the lower Bastide town thrived as a center of the wool and textile industry, the old cité on the hill became a forgotten slum. Its ancient walls crumbled, its towers were scavenged for stone, and by the 19th century it was a dilapidated, overcrowded shadow of its former glory, condemned by the government to be demolished. Fortunately, not everyone was ready to let Carcassonne disappear. The local antiquarian Jean-Pierre Cros raised the alarm. This brought the cité to the attention of Prosper Mérimée, France's Inspector General of Historic Monuments. Shocked by its state of decay but awed by its potential, Mérimée surveyed the site. His report and passionate campaign helped trigger the rescue operation that ultimately spared the cité from demolition. The monumental task of restoration was entrusted to one of France's most influential and controversial architects, Eugène Viollet-le-Duc. Beginning in 1853, Viollet-le-Duc embarked on an ambitious decades-long project to resurrect Carcassonne. His vision was to restore the city to what he believed was its perfect, idealized medieval state, a complete state which may never have existed at any single given time. He rebuilt towers, patched walls, and most famously added the conical witch's hat slate roofs to many of the northern towers. While his restoration undoubtedly saved Carcassonne and returned it to magnificent splendor, this choice sparked debate, as the original medieval towers likely bore the flatter, terracotta clay tiles common to southern France. What we see today is in many ways a 19th century romantic vision of the Middle Ages, projected onto an authentic medieval skeleton. In 1997, the Cité de Carcassonne was inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, a protected treasure for all humanity. Today, it is a living museum that allows us to step back in time. From its prehistoric roots and Roman fortifications to its Visigothic rule, troubadour courts, the violence of the Cathar Crusade, its later royal fortifications, and its careful 19th century restoration, Carcassonne reflects the long story of the region. Its walls have marked centuries of warfare, belief, and political change, standing above the Odi Plain as a record of the societies that shaped it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more history videos every week.